So in this video, I'm going to go over what is Flexchain and what are the components that are used inside of a Flexchain system. So first, Flexchain is something that we can connect multiple sensors into a single chain or a single bus on the sensor. So instead of us having, say, 20 sensors and us having to have 20 discrete I/O signals, we can run all of the sensors in series together without having to run individual wire. So when it comes back to the host, which we have here, or you see in this picture, you have one connection back to either I/O link master, your CAN bus system, or if you just want to use discrete I/O for either a simple and or XNOR logic out of the system. So with this one, we can have up to 60 sensors inside of the chain. And again, that is dependent on what kind of sensors you're using. We're using, say, a G6, which has lower current draw or current consumption than something like a SLG. So we do have to be conscious of that, of what sensors we are using, and also the cable length of how long the cables can be. And this is noted inside of the manual. So then we can come and look in the manual as well, and it tells the number of guests that we can have. We can have up to 30 guests per port, so 60 max, with a max of 255 channels. So a channel is, so if I have one guest, this sensor will have one output, so that is a channel. Where this guest is a SLG, where depending on the beam spacing, say this is 100 millimeters long and it had 10 millimeter beam spacing, that would give me 10 different beams. So that would be 10 different channels per one guest. So this sensor will spit out one channel per guest, and this can spit out, just depending on how many beams it is, up to 10 channels per guest. So that'll be really important to know whenever we go into the next session, is actually hooking this up. So we do have to be conscious also of the max total cable length and the max sensor to sensor. So when we look at this is very important as far as the distance. Right now you see this 2 that's highlighted here. When we have more than 25 guests, the total length plus additional extensions must not exceed 10 meters. So there are some limitations to that, and that's something you'll just have to look in the manual and understand. But to have a Flexchain system, first you need the host, and these come in I/O link, RS485, CAN bus, a lot of different ways to get the information out. This one is just a I/O link 5-pin, but you can also get an 8-pin where you can get up to 6 discrete I/O signals out of it, out of this. And then you have, again, you have a guest, right? So what's different about these versus any regular sensor is you'll see there's 2 cables that come out of it. There's a incoming and an outgoing cable, and this is how the sensors connect to each other, the same way you'll see this one. So I would just connect these in series to each other, and they'll communicate over a bus system. So it's not like your normal sensor. These will actually they will sync with each other to keep from having mutual interference when they're close. Now it is critical that you also have this component as well. So this is a torque wrench to make sure we do not exceed the 0.4 Newton meter torque rating of the sensor, because it will damage the connectors and you'll start to get bad communications if they're over torqued. So make sure you do not over torque these sensors. So you've got this one, it's the G6. It comes with a retro, a through beam, or BGS if you need that. Then we've got the SLG, and these are just standard Flexchain system sensors. But then we have other sensors as well that we can use. So when this system was originally designed, it was made with just really the G6s and SLGs, that these sensors were made for this system. But we saw a need that customers wanted to put other sensors on there, say a standard M12 sensor, either from us or really anyone. So that's when we came out with the Flexchain adapter, where I can take any M12 sensor and put on this system. So as long as it's your standard sensor, you should be able to work on this system. Now, one thing to note is, with these all working in the chain, these are synchronized together, so they will not crosstalk. But once you use the adapter, you have to be careful, because you can have crosstalk on these sensors, because the chain cannot turn off and on the LED like it does these to keep from that crosstalk. So you have the Flexchain adapter. Then we have the booster as well. When we want to add more sensors onto the chain, where we don't have that limitation of 30 sensors per channel, if we want to increase that, again, we need to understand how much amp draw is on all of the sensors as well. And then we have one more adapter that we've made where you have certain power proxies, the WTT12 from SICK, where I can actually get distance measurement from this into my Flexchain using the Flexchain adapter for the WTT12. And then we have the terminal resistor that will go at the end of both of these. So you'll have A and a B that come from the host. So the first sensor will connect, say, to A, and then the next sensor will go on that same channel, and so on until you get to the last one. You have to have a terminal resistor on both the A bus channel and then the B as well. To have one of these at the end of each one, these come with the host. And then you'll need a programming cable to connect to the host using Sopus engineering tool. The newer ones have a USB to USB, while the older ones have a USB to M84 pin. So these are the basic components of a Flexchain system. You don't have to use all of them. You can mix and match how you like.